really much of a story. Hello everybody.
We don't talk a lot. We don't have much here to offer. So
We got nothing. We're actually still trying to figure out the show as the show started because we
we
don't
are.
know what we're doing.
We
Hey,
are.
welcome. It's Pedro Hannibal podcast channel here, and I told him, Pedro, that guy over there. I said, "Hey, Pedro, I got some basketball news," and I quickly realized I have no basketball news at all as we're pressing play to start this thing. But I did have one thing. I think I put it up. It was the draft of 2011.
hmm
Should you change the draft order? So I'm gonna put it up
mm.
right now, right off the gate, because we also have some hip hop news, obviously.
2011. I'm trying to think.
Don't worry,
So you're
bam, I got a picture.
talking
Don't worry, you don't have to use your brain. You have to use your brain, but which
12.
order are you taking these guys again? So obviously, Kyrie was one. I don't actually. I should have had numbers for the rest of them. And then Jimmy Butler was he even. I guess he wasn't at the. He
No,
wasn't. He didn't
he
shake
was.
Commissioner's hand.
He was. It
But I'm gonna
says
go. Actually, I'm gonna look
Kawhi
up
and Klay
the.
Thompson. Okay. Okay.
I'm gonna look at it right now. But if you had a chance to do that order again from the base of those four players,
Ooh. Ooh, that's a good one.
Would Kyrie still be number one for you?
No. No.
NBA champion?
So is Kawhi Leonard. So is Klay Thompson.
True. True.
Right. I think out of those four guys, Thompson obviously has the most hardware, but yeah, he's with the Warriors. Kawhi Leonard is the best basketball player overall. I think if you include everything on that list, even with some of the injuries or the weight, the what do they call it, the load management. Kawhi, multiple championships with two different teams, led a team by himself, the Raptors, to a championship. Key contributor with the Spurs, even when Duncan and also, he was still very integral. So I would say Kawhi, Kyrie, Jimmy, then Klay Thompson. That's the order that I would take those guys.
I just put up the numbers. I just looked at the numbers, the actual draft class. So number one's Kyrie. Number two was Derek Williams. Number three was Eric Edis Cantor. Four was Tristan Thompson. So there was some whiffs. Not whiffs. There's role players, but definitely over hyped. Jonas Valaskousis. I'm probably pronouncing it with the Raptors. Val Veasley from 6 from the Washington Wizards. Bismack Biyombo. Bismack Biyombo. I think
he's a big man. He's been around a little bit. Solid, but he's not a top 10 guy. Yeah.
Brandon Knight. I just remember him being destroyed with a dunk. He may have passed on when that came. Number 9 was Kemba Walker. Solid player, but
solid.
Kind of hurt. And then number 10 was Jimmer Fredette.
Oh God, he's playing over in China.
Oh yeah, he's balling. He's like averaging 80.
Bucket though. Jimmy Fredette was a bucket. BYU,
Shanghai Sharks, probably destroying, but definitely didn't have the NBA career that we thought. So Klay Thompson was 11th. Kawhi Leonard was 15th, and Jimmy Butler was 30th. Who would have known? At least with Jimmy Butler, who would have known? Even Kawhi.
He went to Marquette. He wasn't like a heralded pick though. He didn't do a lot in college, right? But I think Jimmy Butler's obviously gotten better over time. He was good with the Bulls, but then he went to Minnesota, went to Philadelphia. He's bounced around, but I would take Kawhi out of these four. Would be who I would take number one if you're looking back.
Looking back, I would still keep Kyrie number one.
Why?
I know he's annoying.
Why?
Well, first of all, without him, LeBron doesn't get that championship. I think Kyrie was hitting some big shots to turn that whole thing around. I mean, obviously LeBron's the leader, but Kyrie Irving, when he wants to play, when he's not trying to, activist, weirdo, his talent is outwardly. Like he could score better than these four. Let
me ask you this: who's had the best peak? Who's had the best month out of these four guys of basketball?
Well, the best peak was when Kawhi Leonard took that team.
The Raptors.
The Raptors. I mean, but injuries is probably why I'm thinking he definitely should be second. I'll put him second. Now, the thing about Klay Thompson, I guess I will still go with third. But some people like Klay Thompson is one of the greatest shooters of all time. Is he better? And also, he was a great defender when he had all of his legs.
Good point. Very, 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 very good defender.
So should he be second over Kawhi Leonard? But Kawhi Leonard, when he was on. Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard for a couple years there was some people were saying he's the best basketball player in the NBA. A lot of people had him in the top 5. Klay Thompson's never sniffed the top 5 of the current players ever.
That's true.
Never even sniffed top 10. Jimmy Butler maybe top 10, Kawhi top 10, Kyrie Irving top 10. So for me, Klay Thompson's number 4. It's not even close. I think he's one of the best shooters, but I think if he was on another team besides the Warriors, he's going to do a lot, but he's not the Klay Thompson that we know right now.
Yeah.
But these other guys have made their own mark on several different teams by themselves.
And Jimmy Butler, when it's all said and done, may have, he'd be able to take, and maybe, we don't never know. Maybe he gets enough pieces where he can actually win a championship in Miami, and those kind of championships, like the Greek Freak, Giannis championship, Kawhi Leonard's championship, even I will give a Joker his championship.
Mm-hmm.
They mean more than some of like the super teams that kind of come together and they kind of do a thing. Like, who thought the Raptors were going to win that championship? And there was some breaks here and there. I mean, he beat a really good 76ers team. Like, but Kawhi was.
They had a squad though. They had Pascal Siakam. They had Fred VanVleet. They had Kyle Lowry. They had players. So let's not. It wasn't just Kawhi.
It wasn't
Kawhi
him,
was
but
the main guy. Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I thought that was a pretty cool. Just talk about 2011 already, man. Time is flying by, man.
That's crazy, man. To think that, I mean, look at how young these guys are. Besides Kawhi, he looks about the same. But
he looks the same.
Look at Klay Thompson. I'm not a big Klay Thompson fan. He's just weird to me. I don't know. I don't like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't like his game or his personality?
I like his game. I think he's just. I don't know.
Something right.
It's something about him. Yeah, I just don't really like him.
I mean, he seems like gets a little. The Grizzlies, I think, got under his skin even after he won the championship. It's sad that he's not the same player. Like that last ACL, I think that's it, right? That's why it's so interesting that talking about from Monday, they thought, okay, we got this new guy, Jordan Poole, and it was like, nah, we'll just keep all the old guys. Yeah, this is not going to work out. So it is what it is, man. Let me see. I got some stuff. So there's a few hip hop stories. I mean, we can start from the beginning with Cameron setting
warning. So I haven't seen it. So Cameron's warning to Pusha T. So this is what.
Yeah, I don't know if it's probably. I don't know where he said this. It could be on his podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so because he's really focused on the sports. But obviously, Cameron is kind of chose a side on this rap feud between Jim Jones and Pusha T. We talked about it in the last episode. I thought that Jim Jones diss, or at least the diss to Pusha T, was pretty decent. Excuse me. And I thought, I guess again, I had such low expectations for Jim Jones' rapping game that him putting something decent.
As long as it wasn't trash, you were gonna be like, hey, this is all right, right?
This is all right. All right,
that's
cool.
Fair. That's fair.
It's fair. And despite having issues with each other, because Cameron and Jim Jones don't get along, so the baby said,
those babies taking nice little fatherly duties on the. If you guys are watching on the audio, listening to the audio podcast, you got the little baby come down nighttime.
Kids first. I mean, I don't know how many kids I have out here, but family first.
Neither do I. But at least when she comes down, at least you didn't have like the girl like we had on Mondays, with the big tits and So
yeah. Good, we're not. Listen, this is a family show. No, it's not.
It's not.
So, Cameron and Jim Jones, they don't get along. Like they're okay, but it never really got over their issues. So the group has never really fully healed. But Cameron is on the side. He said he's going to side with quote unquote family. He warned Pusha T not to use any past issues between Cameron and Jim Jones as ammunition in the rap battle. He acknowledges that Pusha T is talented, but claims that Jones' diss track has put Pusha T quote unquote on the ropes. However, Cameron has also made clear he doesn't intend to get involved in the rap battle himself. He is now focused on the sports world.
If he comments, he's getting involved though, right? So if you're not going to get involved, you say nothing. If you comment, you're stepping in and you're getting involved. So now, I mean, Pusha T can include Cameron in the actual response because he put himself involved. You know what I'm saying? So even if somebody asked him about it on another podcast.
And it's possible.
It's possible, but then you just say, you know, if you don't want to be involved, you just say, hey, I'm good. I got nothing to say. Yeah. And then you're really not involved. But if you comment on it, you're involved. So,
an idea that Jim Jones got Pusha T on the ropes. I don't think anyone said that. Who said that was?
No, I think Jim Jones stepped. They're in the ring. You know, I look at it as Pusha T's in the ring. Jim Jones just stepped in and said, "Hey, okay, let's do this." But he ain't got nobody on the. He might have thrown some punches and he's showing he's ready to fight, but he ain't got him on the ropes. No way.
Yeah, I'm like, all right. So I understand it's family. I mean, they both co-founded Diplomats. You know, really popular group back in the '90s. Very influential. They were as influential as G Unit or some of the other groups that kind of came and did their thing for a little while, and then obviously it faded away due to the members. Well, Jules Santana went through some drug issues, and Cameron and Jim Jones just kept going back and forth. I think it's always about money. I think it's always about money.
It's always
some issues money, back and forth. Yeah. So Cameron is probably just being loyal, but and you already answered this question, but you think Pusha T should go after him too? Because like, why? First of all, you said that Jim Jones is winning, so clearly you're saying that this guy actually has a chance against me.
Yeah.
So that's a slight. Cameron versus Pusha T. That would be interesting.
Cameron always had Cameron had a different delivery, right? The knock on Cameron was his technique, his flow was very different. Unique, but it was cool, right? He didn't necessarily go with the flow of like the beat and the rhythm all the time, and it was different. He wasn't necessarily like super lyrical, but he was solid, right? He was solid.
Yeah, I would say there's some there's some goofy like liners he'll throw out there to rhyme, to get the rhyme going. But in terms of like his ability to freestyle, his ability to write rhymes, he's up there. Not like, no, he's not the greatest or anything. I'm not saying that, but there's a few songs, a few freestyles that like, he knows how to package this whole thing together. So he's not on the same league with Jim Jones. Like Jim Jones is whack.
I think if anything, him and Pusha T are more looking eye to eye, right? And it's like, all right, there's
contemporaries, true contemporaries.
Yes. Jim Jones is definitely notch below both.
He's a hype man.
He's a hype man, you know. But Cameron's, he had the Sports, Drugs, and Entertainment album. He had the one before that. Maybe it was Horse and Carriage. I mean, he's made some weird stuff. Him and
Come Home With Me or something like that. That's where it had like the hits that Kanye threw a couple of produced tracks. Him and Kanye, the songs they had together pretty popular. So
they were,
Cameron knew how to make a radio hit, and he knew how to do the street stuff. Like he's very versatile. So, but I am interested in why he thought that he needed to say that. But that's his boy, even though they're not getting along. It also shows like loyalty and family. But you kind of, all right, you could just say, that's my boy, but you went and said he had him on the ropes. So I agree. I think Pusha T should put him in and show the fact that they're not getting along. First of all,
do you think he's going to make something in the next month?
I think
he'll have a response. You think in the next week? I don't think it'll be that quick. You think it's going to be that quick?
Well, okay, so let's look at the dates. So 4th of July is coming.
It is.
4th of July is just next Tuesday. I think Pusha T dropping something. What we gonna be doing on 4th of July? We're gonna be eating, doing some barbecuing,
drinking, eating, barbecuing.
Someone drops
fireworks.
Someone drops a diss track. I mean, that's great timing.
Yeah.
But Pusha T, because this is the interesting thing that Cameron says that I think Cameron's not thinking about. So Jim Jones could talk about dude's brother being on drugs, but Pusha T can't talk about Cameron or the issues they had with each other, him and Jim Jones. How is that okay? How is that?
And now you open the door to do that. When you tell somebody, especially in the hip hop, you can't do this or you don't mention this. Of course, the other person's going to mention it because they know that that's your weak spot. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like ridiculous to mention that. To tell another man, hey, you can't do that. Don't say this. You can't. No, that's not how it works, especially in rap battles. Like you're going to use that as fuel, right? So it's going to be interesting. Pusha T it's going to be interesting to hear him because he's going to brag and boast about this typical things that he does, drugs and pushing weight, and he knows Sosa and this and that, and he's on an island, he's got keys on a boat, and that's what Pusha T does, right? He's going to talk about that kind of stuff. But it's going to be interesting to see him not, like, if he's going to talk about another individual versus a lifestyle, it's not normal for him. So I'm intrigued. I don't think he's going to have something in the next week. I'd be happy if he had something that would drop on.
It'll be, I would appreciate it, because it depends on how much effort he has to. Obviously, it's all about effort and planning and timing. Because usually, like a freestyle battle, you only have a second, couple of minute to jump in with what you have to say. But Jim Jones do a couple of decent digs at him. Yeah, talking about his brother, which is weird. What the brother had to do with anything, but that's just how rap battle is, or at least in the hip hop game, you go after everything. Called him a slave, which saying how his last album was whack. None of that.
He questioned his fashion choices, questions his masculinity. He questioned, he questioned that in the song, which is very typical. In hip-hop,
definitely. I mean, we talked about the whole idea of hip hop beefs and how it always goes directly towards masculinity. Like you need to attack this man's masculinity. You must make everyone know that he is a feminine person. And it's kind of like the old relic of, like, nowadays you can't talk about anything. You can get right, like TV shows, comedies are not funny anymore. I can't tell you last comedy, like a sitcom or a comedy movie that was like hilariously funny. Everything is so safe and boring and dry.
It is.
Hip hop is still kind of like, they can't say the F word. They can't say. I doubt I've ever heard the last song that they threw that word out had to be 10, 15 years ago.
I think it's a little sooner. I think it's more recent than 10 or 15. You're right, though. That's when it was being thrown around a lot.
Like late 2000, like early 2000s, I think. After that.
Yeah, because even like Jay-Z and Nas, like all our guys that we really like, we're throwing that around. DMX, Biggie, Pac, like they've all used those those terms, right? Now you get canceled. You know what I'm saying? You just
right.
It's odd, but I don't know. I feel like I'm trying to think the last person. Yeah, you're probably right. It is probably 10 or 15 years. Yeah,
I think
it's
so.
Crazy. You're probably right.
Dark Man Jeff, thank you for coming through. He says, I think Push is going to touch on the Kim and Jim and Kim dynamic. Not a stone is going to be left unturned. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's the whole point of you have to go through everything, because Jim Jones did that. He went after things that, like talking about dude's brother. Talking about dude's brother now, I think everything is on the table. I'm gonna talk about you're gonna talk about your issue with your wife or your fiance, your girl, your friends. I'm going after everybody. You talked about my brother. I mean, that's a big damn deal, right? So I don't think
if I go after Jim Jones, I'm talking about the video he made, which I thought was cool, but look at Jim Jones. He's 50 or 40 or 45, and he's still doing the same shit you're doing when you was 20. You're still on the block. You're still on the milk crate. You got a hoodie on. Look at you. Like, that's how I'm coming at him, right? I'm going to make him – the things that he says are his powers and that make him real, I'm going to say, well, you still doing the same shit you was doing 30 years ago, Jim. You haven't evolved. Like, that's how I would come at him in a couple bars. But, I think Pusha T will do okay. It'll be good. So
you brought up a good point about – when do we stop dressing? When, like, the herb that, we're getting up there, right?
I'm older than you, so I already know, bro.
Like a year. I'll be 30. I'll be 39 in September 24th. Right?
Okay, so almost 3 years, bro. I'll be 42 in November. So 3 years. Yeah.
When do we decide? Okay, should we continue to still wear, obviously some of the, the backwards cap, the Jordans, the hoodies, and all Jim Jones is 45 years old, and he looks like he's dressed like a man that's 25 years old. Yep. Is that a good look? Should we not be dressing like that? We grew up in it. Obviously hip hop is a big influence in our lives, and obviously the way we dress, the way we put stuff on. But when you get to a certain age, should you just throw out shit away and get, some slacks, some polos?
I think that's a good question. I dress like some would say I dress like I'm younger than 40, whatever. I wear shorts and t-shirts all day and
Right.
sneakers sometimes. Like I don't, I'm not suit and tied up. I don't wear khakis and you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I have that stuff for occasions, but I like to be very comfortable, right? So I think it just depends on what line of work you're doing. Because I think right now you can even see a lot of really successful people that are, whether they're in sports or entertainment or they're CEOs of companies or they're influencers, and they wear hoodies and they dress and they got Jordans and that's part of the culture and it's part of what they like. And I think that's fine. And then you have other people that are maybe more influential or business minded and they're wearing suits and things like that, like Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg, right? Like those guys
Right.
ain't wearing the street stuff, but they're going to wear plain tee. So I think now, if anything, it's hard to. I think back in the day, you would look at a guy, okay, suit, tie, khakis, polo, button up. All right, he's successful. He's a businessman. Now, I think it's different. You can see a lot of people that might look a certain way,
Right.
but they're a businessman. They just like to be comfortable or they like to emulate a lifestyle, and that's who they are, right? Yeah, so I don't fault Jim Jones for still dressing like what some might consider young, right? 20-year-old or a high school or a college guy, whatever, right? Because
Right.
that's who he is. But I do think there's certain things, like, okay, I'll give you an example for me personally. I have both of my ears pierced. I got them both pierced when I was like 10 or 11 years old. I haven't had earrings in my ears for over 10 years because I just don't feel like it fits me anymore, right?
Gotcha.
I grew out of that, right? So I think there's some things that as you grow up, you need to grow out of. But I think wearing a hoodie and rocking a chain or wearing a baseball cap, like I think that's all still okay, regardless of the age. So
I'm gonna weird you out. Could you talk about
Uh-oh.
piercings? Since I mean, it's funny. I've never talked to you about this, so it's interesting. And I think at least with the Jim Jones thing, is not maybe not the article of clothing, but the culture, right? Like his attitude of I'm gonna hang out on the block. Like, well, you shouldn't be really on the block, dude. Like a lot of the issues have been happening where you should be doing something else. You don't have to always identify with this thing that because you've been richer longer than you've been poor. So you gotta go with, I think Nas said that at one time. And I was like, yeah. So it'd be kind of goofy for you to still be on block because you're not going through the same issues anymore. You're out of touch. You're not the same person, which is good. That means you have got out of it. But so you're on the block sitting down, drinking, as if you're a 21-year-old, 25-year-old trying to figure out what's going on with your life.
Yeah.
Don't have opportunities. Yeah. You're kind of now it's like you're cosplaying who you were. Now, like you're like, you know what I mean? Like that's not who you are anymore. You've moved past it. So, but yeah, I'm gonna talk about some piercings I had in my early 20s.
Oh,
so
let
at
me
one
hear
point,
it. Yeah, let's hear it.
You can tell I was probably an emo dude. I had my ears pierced. They're not anymore. I still have this. I still had this.
Oh, you had like the top part.
Yeah, I still have this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
I had an eyebrow piercing. Yeah. And this is gonna be a weird one.
You had this
at one
did
point.
You have this
no, I had my tongue pierced.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
okay. That explains.
Now okay. There was some quality. There was some good attributes about that.
Yes.
They liked it, but I think I stopped because I had some issues with my teeth, and it was like and I just took it out, and I realized it was super fucking annoying to have.
I would never have my tongue. Never. I wouldn't. I dated some women that had tongue piercing. There's
of course. Oh yeah. Both sides it worked. I mean, at one point I bought a vibrating tongue ring.
That's hilarious.
We're
learning a lot about Hannibal tonight. I like it. It's good.
They're all gone. It's both. Like I said, evolving. I'm like, okay, I don't want this. I'm tired of this. Always dealing with it. It's probably not helping with your teeth. The eyebrow thing, I thought it was kind of cool for a while, but I think the thing came out and it grew. I was like, grew back. Like, it's not that interesting. I contemplated getting the ear gauge. That never went with that. But yeah, it is interesting when you think about like, okay, after a certain age, should you follow rules or just do your own thing? Like, who cares?
Well, yeah, I think you should always do your own thing, what you feel comfortable with. For me, growing up, I was that kid that had like the fake little CZs, cubic zirconia diamond earrings, and like that was a style back in the day, like that's, but now it's like, nah, I'm good. My girl, wants me to get my nose pierced. She's pushing for that. She's been talking about that for the last couple of years.
We're gonna get the Tupac,
like a little stud or like a little hoop or something. She's been on me forever, to the point where she bought something from Amazon, like fake little nose rings.
Oh, just to see how you would like
it. Put it in to see how it would look, and I put it on. I went to the mirror and I was like, man, it doesn't look bad, but I was like, nah, it's not my style, right? It's not me, you know.
Maybe try a tongue pierce. I don't know.
I'm good. I'm good.
Bobby said Hannibal's one kinky.
Dude, I listen, Bobby. I didn't expect the tongue. I thought Hannibal was gonna say he had like some nipple piercings or some shit like that.
The nipple piercing was a thought. I thought about it.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that.
What do you mean you can see that?
I can see Hannibal with some nipple piercing.
I thought about it. Yeah, early 20s, man. You're trying to just. I was trying to find myself, guys. Okay. I found that wasn't what I wanted. But a lot of it was just like, you got tired of it. Well, I don't think it was like, oh, I need to change. I was like, yeah, you know, that's the whole thing about growing up. You know, you try some certain things, you move on. It's not that big. It's not that big a deal. What we're talking about now? I forgot.
Who knows, man? We're talking about nipple piercings, the tongue rings.
Yeah, try it out. I mean, guys, try it. It's not, you know, the most painful piercing I ever had was actually this shit. No. Well,
was it?
This was, I don't know. My ears are small and they're sensitive. This hurt forever. The tongue thing, I got it pierced in a random strip mall in Queens.
That seems like the place to get a tongue piercing. Some random
and then
strip
like
mall.
Then I just spent like the rest of the day just guzzling like Listerine, and then by the end of the day I was eating. Just didn't eat anything spicy or anything like that, and just let it heal. And then
so with that hold all the way. It's closed. Yeah, it healed all the way. Or still
very quickly. The tongue, like I guess regenerates very fast. So as soon as you take it off in a day or two, at least for me, same thing with like a belly button piercing and stuff like that. But yeah, when the tongue piercing, anytime I'm talking to someone like, especially a girl, like, you got your tongue pierced? I'm like, yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, Listen, my girl's got all kinds. She's got piercings on her ears. She's got the piercing in the whatever the middle is, like the middle ear, not the cartilage, but like the little piece in the middle.
There's names for all of them. Yeah.
Yeah, she's got that. She's got this pierced. She's got both sides of her nose pierced. She's got her septum pierced. She had her eyebrows pierced. She's had all kinds of piercings, bro. Nipple piercings, like she's got them all, man. Everywhere you can think.
So that's why she's trying to get you into the whole.
But I'm not that cool. She's much cooler than me, man. I'm good. Yeah,
you can try to be a little cool.
Yeah, I got long hair and I wear a ponytail sometimes. That's about as far as I can go when it comes.
I think you contemplating cutting it too.
I am. Yeah,
don't get corporate over on this, Pedro. I want to see you with the hair slicked.
Before you know it, I'll have like short fade hair. I'll be wearing suits, and you guys won't even recognize me. Yeah.
It's fun. I was in Manhattan yesterday or the day before, and I rarely go there because unless it's like at night to go out, and I actually had to go and drop off a video game console. It's called Steam Deck. That's not the point. But I had to go into office building to hand it to this person to fix it. And they had their office in Trump Tower. And it's probably the first time I ever went into Trump Tower.
I've never been
exactly
in
what you expect. Yeah, it's exactly what you expect. It kind of gave me that old school Manhattan. You see the suits, people with the hair slicked back. They look they're doing something important. I'm going into the elevator,
briefcases and shit.
Briefcases. There's the golden elevator going up to these and it's all just office building. That's all it is. That's how he's making his money, at least in the Trump Tower.
He leases his name, or he doesn't own the building, but he just leases, like he basically gets a cut
his brand
putting
of the name.
His name on the building, right?
Yeah.
Because there's a Trump building in Chicago. We were in Chicago just when I saw it. And it's like, it's literally just Trump on the whole side, and it's all it's so big and gaudy. It's like weird, you know.
It kind of come that whole 80s 90s look like of Manhattan. Because now Manhattan is a different place. I think there's not a lot of people as much as it used to be. You don't see a lot of some suits, but everyone's really casual, man. Like this is not back in the 50s where even the most like common man had his slacks, his hat, his shoes, and he looked proper, or like when you take a flight, you dressed up. Now we all just looking comfortable. I mean, that's all I can say. We're looking comfortable out here.
Yeah, I think even the women Think about fashion for women right now.
Oh yeah,
It's
definitely.
Lululemon, athleisure, it's spandex,
Leggings, yeah,
it's leggings. It's very comfortable, and I'm all for it. It's fine, but like even that's the style for women right now. Very casual, and
yeah,
men it's similar, and I think that's okay.
yeah,
If you go back in the day, women are dresses all the time, and men had suits. And you look at old film of men at baseball games; they all had suits and top hats. Like like
yeah. Hot as
men
fuck
and
outside. Eh?
fashion. Yeah, fashion has extremely evolved over time.
Yeah,
So let me ask you a question. So we're talking about men and fashion, and when should we maybe not dress a certain way? Do you
right,
think men? We have that old adage of like midlife crisis, right? Whether you hit 40 or 50, and we're coming up on that, right?
right.
And men get a motorcycle, or they get something, they get a piercing, they get a new haircut, they do something to feel younger again because they feel like they're getting older.
Right.
What do you feel about that? Like, do you think that that's a good thing, a bad thing? Do you think that you'll come into that phase?
I'm probably feeling it too. I mean, I'm feeling it right now. Like the other day, I woke up, I couldn't go to sleep. I had back pain, and I don't know what I did. I did
Damn.
nothing different.
Yeah.
It's just the back is hurting.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy shit, it's over now. Like this is it. I'm getting old. I did contemplate not a motorcycle, but I was gonna get a little scooter thing.
Okay.
I think it's natural. I think it's important to at least try some new stuff, not necessarily go back and say, oh, kind of like you're trying to be young, but you should connect to things that you enjoyed. I think, talking about music, how after a certain age we stop listening to new music.
Yeah.
I mean, luckily we have, these apps that they could at least say, hey, you like this thing from 1980, you old fuck.
Yeah.
Check this out. There's new
like
stuff.
Yeah.
You may like it. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think that's definitely something that it happens, is natural. As long as you're not going too crazy with it. And you should understand that it's okay to get older. Like I'm happy getting older. Like I don't think I'm worried. Yeah, you kind of feel like there's time running out and certain things, but that means you need to push, like put the pedal on the metal, figure out what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
But because as you get older, you just get more comfortable with yourself and what works for you, what doesn't. So
I think
as long as you're not doing
get
crazy.
older, we should get more confident and we should realize more about ourselves, right? And as we learn about us, we make mistakes as men, and we go through things, and yeah, I think you said it really well. I feel like I haven't hit my peak yet. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I still am going up as far as like how I feel, what I'm learning, what I can give to the world and people around me. So I haven't hit it yet. I think though, with my personality, when I hit a certain point and I feel good, and whatever age, I'll probably at some point hit that midlife where I'm like, all right, now I want to feel young again, and I want to, because I feel good about the things I have and what I've learned. Now I want to go back and like get a bike or do this or do that.
And also you have more resources. Like you have the means. So I forgot the average age of I forgot it was like a Lamborghini owner or something, some really expensive car. And like the average age of an owner was 50 something.
Yeah.
Because first of all, they can afford it. But then also, they may remember that car they had, when they're in their 20s, which was a fast car.
Mm-hmm.
You accomplished what you need to do. You've made enough money. So you purchased this toy.
You want to treat yourself. You want to.
Yeah.
You see the end is coming up, so you want to have a little fun, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, and also you're trying to bag these Instagram models. You make that kind of money, then you can relive that youth. Even though probably in your youth you weren't able to get those, but now you can because you made some money. So that kind of makes sense. But actually, this is a somewhat decent transition to the next story. Now, Pedro, I think at this point, you're one of my best friends. I know you good enough. We hung out together several times. We slept in the same room. Pause. We know each other, so I know you a good amount, and I know that you are a big fan of Bow Wow. I could just look at it. You're a big fan.
Yeah,
you're a big fan of Bow Wow.
I think I got I had a picture of him behind me, but I took it down. And I got it in the bedroom right now.
Yeah. I'm sure you watched Like Mike 10,000 times. I'm sure you're a big fan.
Is it Little Bow Wow? It was Little Bow Wow. Then he changed it to
Bow Wow. Yeah.
Okay. Now it's Bow Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So he threw some. I don't think there is a zesty comment, but You know those BET Awards. I didn't watch it at all.
I heard about it, but I didn't watch it. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't watch, and I just don't watch reward shows. It's just unless just show me the performances. I'll probably check those out on YouTube.
Same.
So he critiqued the current state of hip hop, blaming trash music for the lack of number one hits, and he's not just talking shit. Let me show you. Let me show you this article. I didn't even notice this.
Year there isn't any.
Yeah,
first year in like 30 years or something where there hasn't been a number one
right
hit.
there. No, and that's actually this is shocking to me.
When I saw it, it's shocking to me as well because hip hop is very prevalent right now in the culture of pop music and hip hop, and so I was surprised. Yeah,
what's going on? There's no hip hop album or song has hit number one in 2023. We're 7 months in. The first in 30 years.
I think I know why.
Okay, so let me read what your boy Bow Wow said. So he just says it's trash music. Believes most of today's male rappers are only talking about sliding on the ops, while female rappers only seem to care about finding a wealthy partner. Ty Dolla $ign. I don't know if you're
I know
you're familiar with. He's okay. He got some decent stuff. He's not, he's more of a singer. He's shifting his focus to dance music. There's a few rappers that also said some of these things, but Bow Wow said it first. But mind you, Bow Wow has not released an album in, I don't know, 10 years.
Yeah.
But and I don't know. I'm trying to think of what happened so far this year. Now, has it been something that came out of nowhere? Or not nowhere, like an album like, yo, that was brilliant. Unless the Pusha T, I don't know if the Pusha T album came out this year.
Pusha T was in 2022. About a year ago.
So I guess nothing's really came around. No. And it's saying hip hop is a struggle, at least on the charts. And now I don't know how much in terms of making money. Obviously hip hop is not just all about selling records anymore. It's about your brands. It's about your concerts, and I think those are still pretty strong. At least what I'm seeing. When Drake drops, I'm going on tour. It's going to be very expensive for you to get those tickets.
The influence and pushing the needle within hip hop is very strong right now, I think. But yeah, the number ones. I mean, maybe it's because of the artists that are popular aren't making music that would hit to the number one level, right?
Right.
Because you remember when Jay-Z was doing this thing, like he had number one albums, like he had more number one albums than the Beatles at some point. He broke a record, like it was Jay-Z, because he would have some radio airplay, but then also have good songs, right?
Right.
Now it's like to the point of the artist or the article, it's like the songs that are out now by the popular artists are talking about like insignificant, like it's not good, it's popular, but it's not maybe good enough to get number one. And maybe, there's kind of a resurgence of like this country plus country mixed with hip hop. That's really popular right now with a lot of artists. Taylor Swift, anything she does is going to be popular. She's making music right now. There's the Dua Lipas of the world, super popular. Billie Eilish, super popular, right? So when you're up against artists like that, like the big artists that are still making music, an Adele, Beyonce's had some music. Maybe that was last year, but I thought she had something this year. When you're up against that, the hip hop artists that are making music now, while it might be a Nas might drop something, or J. Cole, or Kendrick, those guys don't ever hit number one, right? They're popular for us, but they're not popular mainstream wise. They're not like a Jay-Z was.
Right.
So I'm not surprised by it, but looking into it, I'm not surprised. But like 30 years, I mean, that's
yeah. I guess in this article, Billboard speculates just the most popular and reliable artists are just didn't release anything yet.
Yep.
So like Tyler the Creator, I think that was last year. Pusha T, like I said, last year. Future last year. Kendrick last year.
Yep.
Drake last year. Jack Harlow isn't strong enough to get number one, clearly, because he just released. So at least I would at least assume the current crop of the young people isn't that good.
Do you know who I believe has an album coming out this year that I think will end this streak? MGK.
You think he'll hit a number one?
Well, think about
number one album or number one song.
Think about what he just did in the alternative genre. He was number one over there. He had a very good last couple years making music, the alternative, the rock stuff. Like he had multiple hits that were really good in that space, right? He changed his look, he changed his style, and I think when he drops his hip hop album, if he has something that is airwave friendly, I could see that happening.
Yeah.
If the production value is there, because he's going to have his following from these new crop of people that he got with the alternative music that will follow him, and then he's going to have some of the old hip hop heads. So that might push him to a number one on the Billboard with the airplays. I could see that happening.
So right here, a little caveat: despite hip hop's individual struggles to hit number one on either chart, the genre's overall dominance from a sales perspective remains steadfast, with an increase of 6.3% in units moved compared to 2021. So people are still selling, still buying. So it's still multi-billion-dollar business. But I think it does kind of come to show like there is something that if your big mainstays aren't dropping, then none of y'all could get a hit. That's kind of weird because I think even back in the day, again, we're old now, so we can say that. Even like your one-offs, like someone will drop an album and maybe it'd be a one-hit wonder or like a one-out, but they'll hit number one if it's a hip-hop album, right? Or a hip-hop song. But the fact that they're releasing stuff, and I guess the mainstream audience, which is majority, is white people, are not feeling it. Like this is the same thing. I think it's too much of the same thing. Like what Bob said, it's all about sliding on ops, which I think that was always a topic of conversation. But it's maybe it's too repetitive. And the women rappers, they all sound the same. I'm sorry. I was listening to some stuff on the radio. I can't tell the difference between Coil Ray or Ice Spice or Lotto or like they all sound like Ice Spice kind of sounds a little different. Her bass of voice a little deeper, but they all sound exactly the same. Cardi B sounds different to me. Nicki sounds different. Even Megan sound. I can hear them.
Well, they're better. The last three you just mentioned are better than the previous three.
Yeah,
they just are. They're more they're talented. They're a little more MC-ish. Like they're actually, the other ones are just like, they're just, I don't know. They're just.
It's a popular song. I can hear it. I'm like, this is catchy, but I won't ever hear this ever again a year from now, right? Like Coil Ray has.
Some people think that Ice Spice is the next big artist. I've heard there was a guy. He's got a super popular show and/or podcast. He's on a radio. I can't remember his name all the way. And he was talking about she's the next big artist. Like she is going to be the next like big artist. And it compared it not just hip hop, but just overall, right? Because of her popularity on social media and her influence and her age. And she's really, really hot right now. I don't think that. I don't see it. But, I don't know. I know you're a big fan, but.
Yeah, obviously physically, but she was going as far as drill rap. I don't know if drill rap will ever go as big as Pop Smoke. When Pop Smoke was here, that was the thing. But I think drill rap can be ridiculously repetitive, and also brings element of violence. All drill rapper, whether you're in Chicago or New York, all they're doing is getting arrested for murdering each other.
It's crazy. We're about to have the 4th of July weekend is the most dangerous weekend in Chicago.
Yeah.
And Chicago is one of the most dangerous cities in America, right? And this 4th of July, the weekend's coming up, it's not going to be pretty.
No. It's because a lot of these rappers are rapping about either people that have died or people they want to kill in this little. So can the mainstream want to take that kind of rap and push? Now I think Ice Spice is a chick and she probably doesn't do any of that stuff, but her music she's a drill rapper, right? Does she change her style? But I do think the machine is pushing her. Clearly something is up. Like when you see when an artist like Jack Harlow, where it's like, man, you're getting pushed a lot, and these songs are very okay. Like what's going on, right? Or they're just looking at the social media numbers. You know how companies they look at those numbers and think this means this person is super talented. Like not necessarily.
No, but I think TikTok's a powerful weapon right now, a powerful platform, and TikTok, from what I understand, really started the dancing and the music and the little dances and you know what I mean. Like it became pop. Now it's like everything. It's all kinds of TikToks you can watch, but like. The influence of hip hop within TikTok and the impressions and the views and the clicks and the shares and the likes and all that, the views that a TikToker can make a content with the music of that song in the background, right? And that really pumps up Ice Spice. She had that one song and people were just making videos based on that song, right? Based on that hook. And I think that people see that, record labels, industry execs, whatever, and they see that, okay, well, there's some money to be made with this particular artist because they're popular on TikTok, they're popular on social media. So maybe they might not get the airplay on the radio, or maybe the sales aren't there from a standpoint that we used to look at, hey, album sales, things like that. Now it's different. It's the influence within social media, and how many times is that song being heard by people that are watching a 30-second clip. And there's money in that. And I think that's TikTok has shifted it a little bit, in my opinion.
I think so, because the words, or at least the stats, impressions, how long they're, like I said, listening to this. Are they listening to more of the same?
Yep.
They're looking at those numbers, and that's where they're going to push. Because that's where everyone is at. Everyone's watching the social media stuff. So I just want to show hip hop, I guess, album release dates. I guess in next month, and I'm looking at them, and I don't know who these people are, and I don't see any number one hits coming out at least in the next month. So July to have E40, which obviously he'll be fine, but he ain't get I'm sure it may be good. I mean, sure, Ghostface Killer, I would love to check that album out. It's not going to hit number one. No. Offset, if for him to hit number one, you have to be hearing some stuff right now to be like, oh, he's gonna. No, I haven't heard anything.
He'd have to have a really, really super popular song.
Yeah, something has to be out already.
Something that would really go viral and But
Chief Keef. This is not 2010 or 11. So Consequence. He's not number one either.
I like
but
Consequence. But
me too. I'm a big fan of him. But this is nothing. This is not good. So July, no. August, Benny the Butcher.
We love Benny the Butcher, but
I love him.
Number one. What about J. Cole? J. Cole's supposed to drop something.
It must be later. So I think
I
guess it has to be confirmed. I guess.
Yeah.
So August, Nicki Minaj. In October, Nicki's supposed to be coming through.
She could push the needle a little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's still as relevant as she was 5 years ago, but
the song with her and Ice Spice. At least I noticed that there's levels to it. So Ice Spice is rapping, and you're like, this is very okay. And then Nicki comes in. Okay. Oh, all right. I see. There's a bigger difference. Like there's another level.
I mean, Nicki's talented. She's talented. I mean,
yeah. And you still get all the good physical, big booty stuff that that we all enjoy. And then also there's actually some rapping that's actually pretty good. So you get a little bit of everything, right? I mean that's all I care about.
It reminds me of back in the day, Foxy Brown, Little Kim. It takes me back to the nostalgia of high school.
Yeah, definitely. But now we just got like Iggy Azaleas or.
Well, I like Iggy.
I know. Yeah, I know you're a fan. Yeah, you're a fan. You're a fan.
She's a white girl with a fat ass. Who doesn't like that? Come on.
I'm not saying I do not like that. Let me make it perfectly clear. I am all good with that. Nothing. I didn't see this. Chloe said Ice Spice sounds like she's bored. Yeah, it's
hold on. That is hilarious because that could not have been more of a truer comment. Like because even when she's like talking or rapping, she looks bored. She doesn't look interested.
Yeah. I think that's just her. That's her face.
That's funny.
I think that's just how her face looks. I don't know, man. Before we head out, this is a weird story. I just I'm not a big game show enthusiast. Do you like game shows? Do you watch like Jeopardy?
You know what? I do like Jeopardy. Not gonna lie. I used to watch it a lot. I haven't watched it in a couple years. I do like some Jeopardy. I would say there's been many times I've had Jeopardy on. It's 3:30 afternoon. I'm like, answering the questions along. I like Jeopardy. Family Feud can be fun sometimes, but that's about.
I'm hating on Family Feud a little bit.
Those are only two that I really got into. Yeah,
Family Feud I hate on because
why?
I'm being an old cruddy duddy. They made the show so adult themed now with Steve Harvey. Like everything is sexually suggested stuff, and I'm like, wait a minute. I thought Family Feud used to be the show with two families, and it's supposed to be wholesome. You could watch now it's like name one thing you can't put in your mouth. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? And then they're waiting for someone to say something ridiculous.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, whatever.
But that's where we're going, though.
That's where we're going, right? So this story, Wheel of Fortune, Pat Sajak is retiring next year. And they were looking for a new host, and a few people actually were, trying to do it. Apparently, Stephen A. tried it out. A bunch of people are trying to get into this.
Stephen A. What?
I don't know. I think game show is like one of the jobs that is security forever because it's not really about you, and you could just sit there for 30 years collecting checks. Yeah,
good money. You're getting the royalties. You're getting
yeah. So they were looking for it, and also a person that was supposed to at least was in the running was Vanna White, the model that used to turn.
Oh, the woman. Oh,
yeah.
Shout out to Vanna
she's
White.
been there forever. She, back in the day turning it, but now I think she's just like press something. And a lot of people kind of rooting for her, like, yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Like, she should run Wheel of Fortune. Again, all you're really doing is introducing the guests, set the game up. That's about it. You're not
easy, easy.
So, do you think that she got the job?
No, she didn't.
No, she did not. Guess who did?
Ryan Seacrest.
Ryan Seacrest. Now, the reason why I brought this shit up, this guy's on everything.
He is.
Don't he take a break? Does he like want to like have a day off? The guy works all the time, taking all the jobs.
These are pre-recorded, so you could schedule these things out. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I know he has a podcast. He does the radio stuff.
I think it's a radio show. Was he on like Kelly or something?
He was, and then he does American Idol still, I think.
Yeah, the American Idol. He's on one of those competition shows, probably.
Yeah. Shout out to him. I don't know. They should have picked somebody else.
So a lot of people are kind of like, he's not a bad guy. No one's like he's a piece of shit or anything. It was like, damn, dude, you got everything.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think it should have been Vanna White. And this is the saddest thing. Apparently, Vanna White had to lawyer up to negotiate a contract. She has not received a raise in 18 years.
What? That's surprising.
Only bonuses.
Interesting. Well, I mean, you would think she's making good money. And what is she? Let me ask. Okay, let me play devil's advocate. She got the job because when this show started back in the 80s, I'm assuming, right? Probably the 80s. It's been around for a long time.
It's been for a long time.
So she's an attractive blonde woman.
And she was model.
She's a model. That is in the 80s. Men liked blonde women.
We still do.
Still do.
Yes.
But you understand what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
So she got that job for that reason, and she wore nice dresses and all that.
Smiled,
and it's great, right? She presses a button or whatever. What is she really doing besides looking good? She doesn't talk, right? So
I think towards the recently she'll show that she has some personality.
Yeah,
but back then when she was just a hot piece of ass, no, probably not.
So I mean, she should get a raise. Everybody should make more every year. Like if you're doing a good job and they want to retain you, you should be paid for it. But I mean, she doesn't really have to do a lot.
Yeah, I just thought the 18 years without a raise, that's a bit much.
That's crazy. No, that's crazy.
Come on.
In any job, that's absolutely absurd. Yeah.
And I'm assuming maybe they didn't think Vanna White had enough to host a show. Even though she's been there 10,000, she's been there forever.
Yeah.
She's they can get someone else to press the button. She can introduce so at least we'll know that the show will continue the same thing. But Ryan Seacrest will be fine. He's made to do this.
And he also took over for Dick Clark. He does the countdown, right?
This man Ryan Clark does not. He must have no family. He is all in on hosting things.
Yeah.
So you'll think like, hey, you like, first of all, why are you even in the running? He's like, I'll take that job. I'll take this job too. I'll take this job. Like, I mean, shout out to him. That's some workaholic stuff, man. Everyone's gonna know who Ryan Seacrest, because I remember him from American Idol. He was just a regular guy, and there was another guy with him, and then they fired the other guy, and he just kept doing American Idol, and then he just like, I'm gonna take over the world.
Yeah, that guy only lasted the first season. I remember.
Yeah,
and then Ryan Seacrest, they polled people and was like, yeah, we like the other guy, we don't like him, and they got rid of the one dude, and he did a one-man show, and that was his claim. That was what started. I don't know what he did before that. You know what I mean? So. American Idol was his number one thing.
Yeah, that was a launching pad. I don't know if Ryan Seacrest, is that his real name? Sounds fake.
You think?
You don't need Ryan Seacrests?
I know one.
Or Tom. You don't know, like, you know what I'm saying? It sounds like a name from a movie.
You're kind of right. You're kind of Tom Cruise. Is that his real name? I
think his name is Thomas.
Is it?
Tom Cruise.
Just so y'all know in the chat, I'm not a big Tom Cruise fan. I think he is. The one thing I appreciate about Tom Cruise is he does his own stunts. Beyond that, I think Tom Cruise is extremely overrated.
Thomas Cruise Mopperfer.
Yeah.
So those are his
I'm
names.
not a fan.
No, you don't like the action movies. You don't. You
I
didn't
like
like
some of the
Collateral.
movies. Collateral's cool, but
All right.
he played a different kind of guy in Collateral.
Yeah,
so I
Mission
like that.
Impossibles. You don't like the.
Cool.
You're a hater. Tom Cruise is one of the greatest action movie stars of all time. He has drawn tons of classics. I don't know what you're talking about.
He's
what
not.
Do you mean?
Hold up. You think Tom Cruise is in the top 5
of making money?
Stars?
Of successful?
No. We're talking action movies. Do you think is he in the top 5? He's not in my top 5.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, he's in top 5. Yeah.
No way. Arnold Schwarzenegger,
yeah.
Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves with all the Matrix and John Wick.
He's right there.
Jason
I'm not saying he's number 1.
The Rock. You can talk.
Wait. So you're putting Jason Statham on above Tom Cruise. First of all, Tom Cruise can act.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. He's never won anything. I don't know.
Yeah, he's more action. So yeah, action movies.
Denzel Washington, the Equalizer movies are better than.
Okay. Well, Denzel Washington's a better actor.
Well,
yes.
I'm saying he's not in the top 5. That's what I'm saying. I asked you if he was in the top 5. You said,
is it a Scientology thing that bothers you?
Maybe. He's a little weird.
And the weird stuff. You like the Minority Report?
Jumping on, I do like Minority Reports. I do really like that movie.
Yeah.
But Oprah Winfrey jumping on the couch. He's weird.
That was weird. There's something wrong with him, but he just makes money and he doesn't look old. I don't know.
He doesn't look good though. When I watched, he looks good for his age because I think he's 60 something. But when I watched the Top Gun movie, which was a good movie, right?
Yeah.
He didn't look right. There's some CGI going on. It didn't look. It just looked fake. Right, too much Botox or something's going on.
Yeah, you got it because you got doctors have to come in and fix that up, right? Like because no one looks that well or look great. Not look great, but you know what I mean. Like our perception of aging kind of gets distorted because we're watching actors and actresses that have had like a CGI Botox. They've been cut up so many times. That's not how a person that's 60-year-old is supposed to look.
No, I need you to put up this comment from Bobby. Put up the last comment.
Which one? This one
on the screen.
Yeah, disagree, Hannibal. He isn't alpha enough.
He's not. No,
he's been beating up people all the time. Okay, he's too small. I mean, yes,
he's
he
like
is very short. Yeah,
it
does that. Okay, I'll give you that. It doesn't look realistic because he's too short. Fair enough, but they figure it out at least in the movies to make him look like he's.
They put him on a box, and he stands next to his co-star, and he makes him look taller than he is.
Yeah. Listen, the amount of effort to do that. Shout out to Tom Cruise from Syracuse, New York. So, from New York. So I got to represent 5'7". He's probably even shorter than that. That's what it's built on.
Probably. You're just listen. You have that East Coast bias. It's okay. We still love you for it.
Us New Yorkers got to stick together because the attacks come from everywhere. But Bobby also said about Vanna White, she keeps signing the contract, so it's on her. That's just true, and it goes to show about the difference between men and women. At least statistically, men negotiate more for contracts than women. They just do. Now, is that the gender gap? I bet you Pat Sajak made sure that his contracts was looking good.
Maybe
and he's not.
But
obligated to.
He does more in the show. Well,
so it's like he's hosting the show. He's a host.
Yeah, he's a host. So he
could have kept signing contracts. I bet you.
Yeah,
he hired the necessary people to make sure he gets top billing. Now it's been reported that she hired some lawyers, but maybe she should have done that from the beginning. Or she, like you said, she realizes, you know what, this is a good secure spot. I don't want to.
She's getting bonuses too. She would not do the job for as long as she's been doing it if it wasn't paying her well.
Right.
I mean, unless she didn't think she had any other options, and maybe she did.
That's what I'm saying.
And there were no other options for her, so she felt like, I'll just do this. I'm still making a good living. You know what I'm saying? I mean, who knows how much she's making? I have no idea. If you told me she was making $1 million a year, I could be completely off. It could be way less than that. Could be more. I don't know what that job is worth. Is it worth $1 million a year? Because
she's been here for so long. You would hope it's maybe near that, but it could be high 6 figures, maybe.
I would imagine she's making more doing other stuff.
Oh yeah,
investments. Partnership deals. That's where she's really making money, I would think, So.
But also, like a lot of people, when it comes to how much money you're getting paid, is based on Not necessarily now about living expenses because you're taking care of, about respect. How much do you value me to do this?
Yep.
And when it's a low value, or at least you perceive as low, I mean, that's the whole Lamar Jackson thing is all about how much you believe me, not everyone else. Yeah. Baltimore Ravens. How much do you value me?
Yeah.
And if it's not the same as I think I value myself, then that's a disconnect. So,
yeah,
I thought that was interesting. 18 years, she needs to, get her shit together and get some more money if you can.
What is Vanna White's got to be?
I can
look it up. I'm gonna guess right now. I think Vanna White is 65.
66. She looks
pretty
great.
Close. Damn.
I mean, I don't know if this picture is recent.
She looks good, bro.
Yeah, she looks good for you. Yeah. Like, nice
grandma. If Vanna White, if we in Hannibal at a bar and Vanna White sat next to us, we're gonna try to spit some game to Vanna White. Even at
hey, grandma, what's going on? Yeah. Listen, fuck that Ryan Seacrest dude. Piece of shit. You should have got it. 60. First of all, she's worth $85 million. So again, she's fine. They should have gave it to her. They should have gave it to her. Like, what's the point?
That's a lot of money.
Do we need more Ryan Seacrest shows? Like, come on. Well, it is what it is. Okay, we're about to end this here, but I want to talk about, or at least come up with a topic for next week. Yeah. What should we do? We were talking about some R&B stuff. Looks like 2023 for rap sucks, so we can go in the past and relive the good old days. I don't know what you got. Like, I know we threw some other stuff out, like some talking about the R&B.
Well, I'll drop this now on you guys, and I'll tell Hannibal because I haven't told him yet. I can't do Monday. I'm on vacation. We're on vacation, so no podcast on Monday, but we'll be back next Wednesday, right? What's the day after New Year's Eve? No, not New Year's Eve. The day after 4th of July. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hannibal gonna pop this.
Bobby, the tongue ring has retired. There's no way.
Let me tell you right now. If we're sitting at a bar and Vanna White pulls up, even at 66, and Vanna White looks at Hannibal, and I'm sitting there, and Vanna White's like, you know what? I never had a guy with a tongue ring. Hannibal's gonna go down to the local bodega.
That shit hurt.
Down to the local, and he's gonna get a tongue ring real quick.
I don't know about all that, man. Because then, listen, that has some diseases. It's not healed yet. Hopefully, Vanna White's clean. She looks clean.
She's
anyway,
66, bro. Come on.
Oh, you don't know, dude? A lot of STDs are happening in old folks' home. You know that, right?
She ain't a old folk home.
She's not, but they fuck. I'm being disgusted. I'm sorry. All right, so we actually have a full week. We'll come up with something. We'll chat up. But thank you guys for coming through. Be good out there. Be safe. Like Pedro said, people kind of lose their goddamn minds near 4th of July. Be safe out there. Don't put yourself in crazy situations.
If you're gonna do fireworks, be safe. Right? You're drinking. You got fireworks. Don't do the guy with the New York Giants. John Perry.
Yeah, John. JPP
blew off half his hand. Be careful if you're doing.
Be careful.
Fireworks.
And we overdrink. Uber. Don't drive. Don't fucking drive your car. Don't do that because bad things will happen.
Or Lyft. Is Lyft still a thing? Yeah.
Yeah, Lyft is still out. Over here, Lyft, Uber, all over here. It depends on other areas, but be good. And we'll see you guys after 4th of July.
Yep.
Peace.